What's up, y'all? It's Daniel the Shoemmelier. We have a first for this channel. This video may very well be the first and only video of this kind on Al Gore's internet. We have an unboxing and overview at what's in the box of the Kicking It and adidas Gazelle Indoor live music. Now, this is the first collaboration between the sneaker boutique Kicking It and adidas. Kicking It is located in Austin, Texas. They also have a new store in San Antonio, Texas, and fans of the channel will know that that's basically my hometown sneaker boutique. In fact, I'm wearing a Kicking It shirt right here. I have a Kicking It basketball right there, and I have shown various Kicking It paraphernalia and whatnot in the background of my videos. But this Saturday, October 11th, we'll see the release of this collaboration. Now, you can see it is your standard adidas blue box with the 3 stripes. And it has your standard tag on here. It says Gazelle Indoor. And oh, you can see that this is Dan the Man. So yes, your boy was seeded this pair for this explicit purpose. Plus, they know not only am I a huge fan of Kicking It, but I'm a huge fan of the 3 stripes. Now, when you open it up, you see 2 very carefully and tastefully wrapped shoes. Now, this white tissue paper has blue on it, and it is more of a darker blue in real life, though you can still see some of that royal blue that matches the adidas color. The Kicking It color is blue, which is a slightly darker blue than the adidas color. I wish I could tell you the Pantone right off of the top of my head. I cannot, but that's okay. I think other people will. Now, you pull it out of the box as I drop the other shoe. That's horrible. And you can see that this white tissue paper has some great design work on it. Just looking across, you see that it says Austin because Kicking It is in Austin, and we'll talk about that in a little bit later. We have a treble clef, we have a guitar, a bass guitar, we have bats for the Mexican freetail bats, we have armadillos for, well, armadillos, we have bass clef because of music, we have the trefoil logo, we have other music notes on there, and then we have 512. I saw it, 512, and that is important because that is the area code for Austin and the surrounding areas here in Central Texas. Now, in addition to the review on this live music adidas Gazelle, this will also be a bit of a history lesson as it pertains to Austin, my hometown, and its music scene. Now, I am a unicorn here in Austin. I was born here in Austin, downtown St. David's Hospital. I came up through the AISD, Austin Independent School District system. I went to technically 3 because they changed the name, 2 local universities, one in San Marcos, which is about 20 minutes south of Austin, the other, the University of Texas here in Austin. I am an Austin native through and through, grew up in South Austin, south of the river, currently live in North Austin, north of the river. Some of that stuff makes sense to you, some of it doesn't, but regardless, I was here before Austin was cool, I was here while Austin was changing, and I will be here much later once Austin kind of figures things out. But right now, we have this live music Gazelle. As you can see, it comes with this plastic bag attached. We'll talk about this in a second. Let's pull out this other shoe. Now, this shoe comes pre-laced with some blue laces, and it has yellow aglets on the end, on the tips right there. Fantastic, right? As you can see, this shoe, or maybe you can't see, this shoe is primarily made of suede and then, of course, leather. You have your brown gum rubber outsole. If we pull out the other shoe where you have the plastic bag, you have some 512 Dubrays. 512 Dubrays, again, 512 being the area code here in Austin, Texas. You also have an alternate set of white laces with red aglets on the bottom, or at the end, so you can kind of see what you might want to go. You know what? I can see myself rocking the white, but we are getting into fall. I think I'm going to stick with the navy blue. Let's talk a little bit about what all of this shoe means, because it is very much so through and through an Austin shoe. So the designers, when the Kicking It folks and these folks got together and put their heads together, Austin, the story of music in Austin, was very important in telling the story of the shoe. For me and for lots of people, storytelling is some of the most important things and can take an everyday average shoe and amplify it immensely. And this shoe has such a great story behind it. An Austin kid growing up, a musician growing up, this shoe speaks directly to my heart and my passions. Now, the overall upper of the shoe, primarily consisting of a teal blue and a kicking it blue colorway, pulls inspiration from the iconic Muddy Waters mural at Antone's, which is one of the last remaining venues from Austin's musical renaissance. Antone's was and is a home for blues and a hub where legends have performed, and the teal and the blue matches that mural and pays homage and is inspired by Antone's and Muddy Waters. The Kickin' It Blue on the toe cap comes directly from the Kickin' It logo. And of course, with a collaboration, you want to put some nods, some signatures, some isms about where you come from. Kickin' It comes from Austin. So Muddy Waters, Antone's, Kickin' It. We continue on. We mentioned that we have that 512 lace Dubray. It is in gold. Now, Austin has grown bigger and has a second area code, 737. Maybe if and when Adidas and Kickin' It decide to do a second collab, maybe the 737 folk will get a little bit of love. For now, we'll keep it OG with the 512. Now, on the sides of the shoe, you can see that there are yellow stripes or a gold stripe. Now, this is pulled from the iconic Greetings from Austin mural, which is found on 6th Street. 6th Street is, well, it depends on when I came up, it was just bars and clubs. And now 6th Street has expanded into West 6, East 6. The 6th Street that I grew up with is Dirty 6, but lots of live music took place on there, and that was kind of the street. That's our Bourbon Street, if you will. That is our Broadway, depending on what kind of city and streets you recognize. You'll also find on the lateral side of the shoe embroidered guitar strings running along the side. They are textured, so you can run your finger across them and it feels like you are touching a guitar. Now, I don't play guitar. I have dabbled in guitar, but you can see it, you can feel it, you can hear it. It runs all the way around, side to side. Guitar strings. We'll talk more about that in a sec. Speaking of guitars, on the side, there is a stitched leather guitar pick patch with the guitar head graphic. Again, if you're playing the blues guitar, maybe you play a little bit with your guitar pick, rock and roll guitar, jazz guitar, etc. But regardless, you have that white guitar head on the guitar pick, a really smart and cool design, which leads you to the back of the shoe in that heel tab. You can see Austin on there. You can see the guitar on there where you have the hole, and I don't know the names of the exact parts, the keyhole. I'll call it the keyhole because that's what we call it on string instruments. And you have the guitar strings running across. Now, this red and this yellow are found on that Greetings from Austin sign. So already you have the Kickin' It blue, the Muddy Waters blues, the mural. You have the red and yellow taken from that Greetings from Austin sign. But you also have this maroon here and yellow, or maroon and gold, which are the school colors of Houston-Tillotson University, the first institution of higher learning in Austin. They are the Rams, and maroon and gold, and the store owner, in fact, a number of employees and regulars affiliated with Kickin' It are graduates of Houston-Tillotson University. So this was very important to them to capture that. It is, again, it's older than the University of Texas. So this was the first University College Institute of Higher Learning. And so to have HT, you have Kickin' It, you have Muddy Waters and Antone's, you have the Greetings from Austin sign, you have so much Austin iconography on the shoe. And then you pull out the removable insole and you have a continuation of that motif that you found on the white tissue paper. You have swirling music notes, you have graphics inspired by music notes. It's a very music looking shoe. I say that because there are some things that maybe you don't necessarily find in actual European music theory, but that's neither here nor there. That's a music nerd type observation and comment, but I digress and we move on. Now, we mentioned the 512 Dubray, but the shoe does come already with gold Adidas Dubrays on there. So if you don't want to do the loud 512, I'm certainly going to put it on both shoes. You can keep the Adidas one on there, but 512 through and through. 78745, that's where I grew up, if you're curious. You have a continuation of the red on the tongue that matches that red and yellow that we talked about with the Greetings from Austin sign. And then, of course, you have Gazelle where it normally is found. You have this rubber outsole. Altogether, you have a shoe that is through and through Austin. It's Austin. And as the shoe is nicknamed or subtitled, whatever you want to say, live music, the live music Gazelle, you might be wondering, if you're not as familiar with the city of Austin, what's the deal? Why is it about live music? Well, I'm glad you asked that. In 1991, whether it was the Austin City of Commerce or some Austin leaders came together and they decided that they wanted to call Austin the live music capital of the world due to the amount of venues at the time that we had. Now, a lot has happened since 1991, and we have had so many things musically happen to this city. The Austin City Limits Music Festival, South by Southwest, etc. But we also had some downturn with COVID and whatnot. And so I know that some people like to tongue-in-cheekly go, oh, live music capital of the world. Look, you can still find live music almost any night in any given part of the city. But the fact remains, it's the nickname. It's what we have sort of planted our flag on since 1991. And this shoe pays a lot of tribute to that. Now, it wasn't just something that they said, oh, well, we should just call it that just because we have a lot of venues. Austin has a rich and long history now. Oh my gosh, it didn't seem that long ago, but now it's insanely long when you really think about it. Of music, of Austin type music, of Austin artists that have come from Austin, artists that grew up in Texas and came to Austin, artists that came out of state and came to Austin and helped grow and cultivate and encourage that Austin music scene and sound. So you might be wondering, well, what were some of the artists that Austin calls our founding fathers, our founding mothers, what we say statesmen of the Austin music scene? And just a few names. We mentioned Muddy Waters out there. We like to claim Willie Nelson. We like to claim Janis Joplin, Gary Clark Jr., and probably the most, I would say, if you ask true Austinites, and by true, I'm going to get on a soapbox real quick, you were born here and you came through, or maybe you got here as soon as you possibly could. If you went to middle school and high school here a while ago, then you could do this. Many would say Stevie Ray Vaughan is that Austin artist. Stevie Ray Vaughan has a statue on Auditorium Shores, which is along our lake, Town Lake, not Lady Bird Lake, Town Lake. But we also have a Willie Nelson statue. So I think when you put it in order, you would probably say Stevie Ray, Willie Nelson, and then of course Gary Clark. We mentioned Janis Joplin, who played at Threadgills, and then Muddy Waters. We've had a lot of people come through, a lot of bands come through the Austin area. In fact, in 1972, that is when Austin music, quote unquote, happened. We had this new form of country music that exploded on the scene, and basically it was turning its back on Nashville and embracing this counterculture. Now, you may have also heard Keep Austin Weird. Now, that came together from the Austin Chamber of Commerce in order to promote staying local and purchasing from local businesses and artisans and whatnot. But you can see that in the 70s, using the terms counterculture for Austin, Austin was a sleepy college town. Austin was very hippie, all right? Some yuppies in North Austin, but primarily a hippie town, and things have changed in the last, 50 years. That's why I said now it's a long time ago. But in the 70s, Austin was an alternative, country music to what was happening in Nashville, which is why the likes of Willie Nelson made his way over here. Now, country music wasn't the only type of music that was taking a hold in Austin. On the east side of town, we had a lot of venues that were home for soul music and rhythm and blues, and these venues were part of what they called the Chitlin Circuit. The Chitlin Circuit is where you saw such artists come through as Duke Ellington, Ray Charles, B.B. King, and Tina and Ike Turner. So we have this burgeoning and growing country music scene, this building rhythm and blues and soul. And of course, as music does, as pop culture does, it kind of merges together. And that's why you get your Stevie Ray Vaughns, your Gary Clark Jrs. That were playing this soulful country, jazz, and blues. And that was what I think people would associate with being the Austin music sound, the Austin scene. Now, we talked about in 91, we get the live music capital moniker applied to the city. In 1974, checks notes, 1974, Austin City Limits The Show debuts. And now that is a public TV, public television, PBS broadcast where artists come to Austin and they play in a venue and they put concerts. And at 20 years ago, in 2005, they had already crossed 500 performers. So if we're thinking in 20 years since then, and that debuted in 74, so that took 84, 94, 30 years, we have to be closing in on 1,000 performances in the last 50 years on ACL, on Austin City Limits, which many people rock, country, blues, jazz, pop, hip hop, all of that. They consider performing at Austin City Limits to be one of those things like Carnegie Hall or the Grand Ole Opry or these venues, these cathedrals devoted to music. This is a badge of honor for bands and artists. So that's why you can say, for 50 years, Austin City Limits is a place where people want to come and play, and they do, and that contributed largely to the live music capital of the world moniker, contributing to the overall aura of people coming to Austin for live music. Now, that definitely precedes the ACL Fest, the Austin City Limits Fest, which didn't start till 2002. But before that, we had South by Southwest, or what you might call South by, and that started in 1987. It has grown to be not only music, but film and tech. And South by Southwest, before it went all corporate, like anything, it was really a place where you could come and find and see and listen to people that were just about to break out, people that were kind of close, and people that weren't even close. You will even hear stories, and this is years ago, this doesn't happen anymore, of private, secret performances where people will say like, oh my God, Kanye West is playing in this one. Oh my God, Tyler, the Creator. It wasn't Tyler, Odd Future. Like, they had that group that was playing. You have all these people that come through here and just blow up years, months, days later. That doesn't happen as much anymore, but South by Southwest was definitely that type of thing. It happened around spring break, so the weather was pretty nice, and you could just go listen to music for days. I'm not that type. I like to go specifically for people, for artists, for groups. Some people just want to walk around and listen to music. Regardless, South by Southwest, another thing contributing to the live music capital of the world. And we just mentioned the ACL Fest, which started in 2002, and we just finished weekend one. When it started in '02, it was just one weekend and has since grown to 2 weekends, which is 90% same artists. Some of the headliners only do one weekend. Some of the, I don't want to call them lower liners, but they don't do both weekends. But regardless, you get a large amount of people and bands and artists performing over the 2 weekends of ACL Fest. People love it. People come from all over. And, I just avoid downtown both of those weekends for sure. But there is no question that live music is one of the hearts and souls, the arteries of the city of Austin, which makes it such a great city to be in, which is why everyone keeps moving here and traffic keeps getting horrible, because the city was never meant to be this big. It was meant to be a sleepy college town. It's not sleepy, and it does have colleges, but regardless, Austin, the Kickin' It, and adidas Gazelle Indoor live music available this Saturday in person first, if I understand correctly. So if you want this shoe, and I believe it's 130 US American dollars, you want this shoe, you have to go to Kickin' It at the Domain on Saturday. Doors open at 9, but check their Instagram page. In fact, I'll put something right here so that you can see not only that I quoted you the correct price, but the correct time, the correct location, all of that stuff. And for those of you people out there that are like, I'm kind of on the fence about it, I don't know. I know how sneaker people can be. Hype beast sneaker people can be. They are only making and releasing 512 of these. 512. No, not 512 of these Dubrays. 512 pairs of these shoes for 512. So if you are hoping that you can get this shoe online, I don't know. It might a few pairs might make its way online. But you have to consider that Kickin' It is releasing it in their Austin store and may want to take some pairs to their San Antonio store if those pairs don't sell out in Austin. So your best bet is to show up to Kickin' It at the Domain in North Austin to grab your pair of this Kickin' It in adidas Gazelle Indoor live music. As we say, let us know in the comment section down below what you think about this shoe. Are you going to try to get it? Do you want to get it? And if you want to get it, you got to figure out how to get it if you're not around Austin. This is really, really exciting. Don't quote me on this, all right? I know that we have had and have other sneaker stores in They're both the two other big ones if you take out the big box retailers like Shoe Palace and JD and Finish Line or whatever, the other two, that they didn't pay an ad. No, but they didn't send me anything. They don't get mentioned. They are in downtown Austin. They have had collaborations before with other sneaker companies, and yes, with Adidas. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below. I don't believe either of those sneaker stores did a collaboration about or embracing Austin, which one of those sneaker stores I wouldn't expect, because they are not, just because they have a store here in Austin doesn't mean that they're an Austin institution. They have done collaborations and celebration of their actual home state. Totally get that. The other one, I don't know. I know of their collaborations. I've seen them, but I don't know that it was like Austin. I could be wrong. It's not a knock. It is an observation in that could this very well be the first, if not the greatest, Austin collaboration shoe to be released. It might be on a large scale. There might have been some customizers that released a few of them here and there, whatever. But this is a mass-produced shoe by one of the top 2 global sneaker brands in the world on a silhouette that is iconic and one of the oldest silhouettes in existence. So kudos to the good folks at Kickin' It and Adidas and for Austin for coming together to give us this really sweet, swell, groovy shoe. Man, it's almost, I love loud shoes. And this is a loud shoe in all the right ways. And you know what? It matches the steez back here. Like, this is the kind of shoe that I put up on the back. Like, this is going to live there so that everyone can see what this is. Maybe I put it next to my 100,000 subscriber silver YouTube plaque that I haven't talked about out loud, but I just put it back there. But if you follow me on social media, you know that I've talked about it enough. So, the comment section down below, what do you think? Are you going to grab one? Do you want one? Come and get it Saturday at Kickin' It at the Domain. Shout out to Adidas. Shout out to Kickin' It for this pair. And wow, I'm so excited about the opportunity that Kickin' It has been given with Adidas 3 stripes, right? 3 stripes for life. I'm super excited, super proud. As a native Austinite, this kind of stuff just warms my heart. It doesn't feel overly corporate, right? It definitely feels like the designers took a lot of care and did a lot of research in what they wanted to do to come together to put this shoe together. So shout out and kudos to all of them who designed and gave us this Kickin' It and Adidas Gazelle Indoor live music. So to all of you out there, wherever you are, thanks for watching. Stay tuned and just chill. Till the next episode.